Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the four-game, is it main slate or late slate here for CSGO on Monday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking out NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports daily fantasy sports slates. Esports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and this one, Counter-Strike CSGO. If you guys have been enjoying this content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, would appreciate if you leave a 5-star review. Those things really do help me out to continue to put out free content for you guys each and every day. Yeah, I think we're at, I believe, 3.36 thousand subscribers on YouTube. So again, thanks again for all the support, guys. Really do appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So we have an 8-game slate that I just talked about. If you guys are interested in that, that is already up on my YouTube channel. This one is a 4-game slate, but we have some really big size tournaments here. We have a $15 entry, $25K to first tournament here for CSGO. So one of the bigger tournaments we've seen for CSGO in a long time here. So really excited to talk about this slate. Let's do it. Again, we don't have the odds out in Bovada, but I found them here on gg.bet. So we have 4 games, and all 4 we have some pretty big favorites here. So MiBR and Chaos, MiBR minus 625 favorites. Triumph versus Triumph minus 588. Envy and Team 1. Envy minus 238 favorites, and Cloud9 versus New England Whalers. Cloud9 minus 833 favorites, the biggest favorites on this slate. So let's get into the first game here. MiBR versus Chaos. Let's talk about the Chaos side first. So Zeppa's at 10.2K. I think that's just a contrarian dart throw. Now, he does have good numbers, right? If you look at his numbers on HLTV.org, they look really good. 0.826 kills per round, 0.63 deaths per round. But you have to take that with a grain of salt because this is a team that doesn't really play against the best competition, right? Look at their previous matches. I really couldn't name one of those teams. So, sure, they're putting up big numbers, but not against the best competition, right? So Zeppa, Leaf, those two guys have good numbers, but do you want to pay 10.2K, the most expensive for Zeppa on the slate? I just don't think it's worth it. Now, Leaf is at 4.4K. He did have a bad game. I think they have one game here on Draftkings. Yeah, went 15 and 22 against Gen G, where it's 8.4K. Now he's 4.4K. So I could see taking a shot there, right? But again, his numbers against, not against the best competition. I mean, you can go back and look at the scoreboards here for these games. He probably has decent numbers, right? 21-19 there. Let's see. Let's go to this one. See where he finished at. 37-35. So not that great, right? But again, you had to take those numbers with a grain of salt because they've not been against the best competition. But let's talk about the MiBR side. So this is a side that you got to feel pretty good about. I think they should be able to win this one. Fallen at 9.4, Fur at 8.2, and KNGV at 8K. When you get about $1,000 difference more than that with Fallen and then Fur and KNGV, you got to prefer Fur and KNGV to Fallen here. I think, obviously Fallen probably has the most upside. He probably has the big play upside, right? Those 1v2 clutches, 1v3s with the op. But when I can get, a $1,200 difference there with Fur and a $1,400 difference there with KNGV, you got to prefer those guys, right? Fur and KNGV, they have better numbers if you look at them compared to Fallen, right? Fur 0.74 kills per round, 0.68 deaths per round, KNGV 0.75 and 0.67. Whereas Fallen's at 0.72 and 0.60. So sure, Fallen maybe has a slightly better KD, but if you look at kills per round, deaths per round, but Fur, KNGV are in more gunfights, right? They're a little bit higher kills per round, right? 0.74 for Fur, 0.75 for KNGV. So those are my top 2 favorites here in MiBR. Now, Taco and TRK, I think make for some interesting value plays. Normally, these are guys that I just kind of avoid on those 3-game slates, but in a slate like this, when you have teams that are really heavily favored, I think you can look to these value guys. So if I'm going to pick one, I know Taco had the better game today. I'm going to go with TRK. He's been a little bit more up and down. I think you can compare him to a guy like a BMOS and FaZe, who sometimes to not look great, but other games can be the best player in MiBR. I like that upside for this matchup in the 5.8K price point. So I do have interest in TRK, and the new addition to the team. he's been decent, right? Not great numbers, 0.61 and 0.67 for the last 3 months, but I have some interest there as a value option. Next, let's talk about New England Whalers versus C9. So another game we have huge favorites, right? The biggest of the day for this slate, at least, with C9 minus 833. On the New England Whalers side, I think there's only one guy I'm interested in, and that's Pawn alone at 0.79 kills per round, 0.60 deaths per round. Everyone else on his team has decent numbers, but again, these are against a lot lesser competition. So Pawn alone would be the one guy I would consider as a one-off, but 9.6K, it really doesn't make sense unless you want to get super, super contrarian. I think these teams have played before. Yeah, C9 won. Now, they were closer games, right? 16-13, 16-11, but C9 won that one 2-0. C9's the more talented team for sure. Let's talk about the C9 guys. So this is a team I really like targeting in DFS. Floppy's a guy I basically play every single slate, kind of like a Sabonis NBA. He just seems to always come through for me. I know he's more expensive than OC, so when those two are when you get, I guess it's a $600 difference, so it's close. I personally still slightly prefer Floppy, even though he's more expensive. I get it if you want to go OC, where they have pretty similar numbers. Floppy at 0.75 kills per round, 0.67 deaths per round, was OC at 0.7 and 0.62. I just think Floppy has the ability to really break the slate if he's playing really well. Again, he's a very aggressive player too, so I do like Floppy slightly more than OC, but I can see the argument if you want to play OC over Floppy. Again, I think you can play both. This is a 4-game slate, so I think like a 2-2-1-1 stack is probably going to be pretty popular for this type of slate. So you could play both Floppy and OC together. Now, with Sonic on MOTM here, I have interest in both these guys. A good amount of interest. It always seems like one of those two guys goes off for C9. Now, it is a little harder to predict. Both are almost identical if you look at their numbers. MOTM 0.68 kills per round, 0.67 deaths per round. Sonic at 0.64 and 0.66. So MOTM's slightly better numbers, but again, he's more of an aggressive player too. He initiates gunfights, where Sonic, when Cloud9 does use two ops, which they do a good amount, he will use the second op. So it's always good to use the most powerful weapon in the game. So both are pretty similar. I always just prefer going to MOTM over Sonic, but I get if you want to go Sonic over MOTM. I think one of those guys will have a pretty good game here for C9, and they look pretty good for their respective prices. JT at 5.6 normally is a complete stay away from me. Doesn't have good numbers at all, right? 0.54 and 0.69. I think you could make an argument if you want to get super contrarian, and they're huge favorites. They should be able to win this one 2-0. That's what you're looking for these value plays, is that 2-0 bonus, the plus 20. So I could see making an argument, but still, I still probably won't get there. And next we have Yeah versus Triumph. We have Triumph at minus 588 favorites over Yeah. So let's talk about the Yeah side first. This team is basically a stay away from me. I think the one guy I would consider would be Dumao at, what's his price here at DraftKings? He's at 6.2K, but even so, again, I don't know if the risk is worth the reward to target some of these big underdogs. I just don't know if it's worth it. So probably a big team I'll stay away. On the Triumph side, there's some interesting plays here for sure. Now we have Grim at 9.2K. Feels like a lot, but if you look at his numbers, he has really been carrying this team. 0.8 kills per round, 0.66 deaths per round, compared to everyone else on his team, right? Shakezilla, 0.61 and 0.67. Spongy, 0.6 and 0.63. Curry, 0.62 and 0.72. Junior does have slightly positive KD, but compared to those other three guys, Grim really blows out the water. So I get why he's priced up that much. I think he makes a really good play, right? I think you're going to want to jam in, obviously these favorites, and I think Grim has the ability to really break the slate. So I do like Grim, even at that price. I think he really stands out. I also have some interest in some of these cheaper plays. Now, the guy that stands out to me is Junior at 6.8K. For how, they're pretty big favorites, right? They are minus 588. They should be able to win this one. You could argue should be 2-0. He's got the second best numbers here on the team, right? He's positive KD, 0.67 and 0.60. So when he's priced about the same as some of these other guys, I got to go Junior being my second favorite play there. So Grim, Junior are two guys that do stand out a good amount for me. The other options, I think, are just more contrarian plays. I think you can, if you want to get different, play maybe like a Spongy, Curry, or Shakezilla over Junior. But just look at those numbers, right, and how they played recently. I think it's definitely Grim and Junior that are my main targets here in Triumph. And lastly here, we have Envy versus Team 1. Now, the odds in this one confuse me a little bit. I have not got to see this Team 1 play at all, but I would have figured Envy would have been bigger favorites here. They're only minus 238 favorites. So a lot of the times, right in the last slate, I brought up a game that, I thought it was like the line was a little bit too high. This one, I think it's a little bit too low. I think NB should be bigger favorites here. I think they should probably be minus 400, minus 500 favorites. So I do like the NB team a good amount. Team 1, yeah, I mean, they're the 82nd ranked team in the world. They just haven't really played against any real good competition, right? They lost to New England Whalers. They lost to Chaos. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if I understand the odds for that one. So, let's talk about the one guy I would consider here. It would be Barton at 7.8K, because if you look at his numbers compared to everyone else on this Team 1 side, it just stands out like a sore thumb, right? So, everyone, around a 1.0 KD. Barton 0.86 kills per round, 0.64 deaths per round. That really stands out. A 1.3 rating 2.0. So I could see taking a shot on him at under 8K price point. Again, they're the smallest, I guess, underdogs in the slate, even though I don't necessarily agree with it. I think NB should be bigger favorites. But he would be the one guy I would consider as a one-off. On the NB side, there's a good amount to like here, especially Calix. He's one of my favorite plays, if not my favorite play of the day for his price on the slate. I really, really like that price. He's got a 0.8 kills per round, 0.68 deaths per round. He's got the most upside by far on this team. He has the ability to break the slate. I really do like Calix. He's put up some big games against some really good teams. He's put up like 90 plus against C9. Put up 60 against Gen G. He put up put up 85, 81 against Bad News Bears. So I do like Calix a good amount for his price. He's one of my favorite plays of the day. I think these other guys are interesting too, though, with Micho, Nifty, and Moose. Now, Michu has pretty good numbers, too. 0.76 kills per round, 0.68 deaths per round. He's definitely the number 2 on this team. And he's flashing upside. He has carried this team as well in some games. And you're getting him at 7.6K. So those two guys for NB do really stand out to me for the prices. I like those guys a lot. If we look at Nifty, if we look at his numbers, 0.65 and 0.64, so right about a 1.0 KD. When he's about the same price as Michu, I just got to give the edge to Michu. Now, Moose has been playing well recently. He's at 6K. Doesn't necessarily have the greatest numbers, 0.6 and 0.67 as far as kills per round, deaths per round, but that's a pretty cheap price point where I could see making an argument there. And then Ryan at 4.8K. Again, normally a guy I avoid, really doesn't have good numbers, 0.54 and 0.7. But on a slate like this, I could see making an argument for, but still, I still don't even know if I would get to him right. So he's kind of in the same territory as like a JT. Right, they're really cheap. They're big favorites, but I still don't even know if I would go there. Right, like the really cheap guys that I like, I think are TRK. He would probably be my favorite, like really cheap guy in this slate. I think you can make an argument for Junior as well. Those would probably be my 2 favorite, like really cheap options on this one. But yeah, again, this is obviously a different slate than the 8-game slate with only 4 games. So roster construction is going to be a little bit different. I think, probably a chalky approach is going to be a 2-2-1-1. Now, can a 3-man stack win it in a slate like this? I think it can if that team really dominates, right? If they win 2-0 and they win easily 2-0. I think that's the only way that a 3-man stack is in the winning tournament lineup. I think it's possible, right? Maybe not likely, but I think that is possible if you wanted to go a 3-man stack. But I think the chalky approach, right, the cash game approach, go 2-2-1-1, probably with all of the favorites, right, unless you feel really good about an underdog. Cash games for captain. Again, I want to target those guys that have upside to really put up big scores, right? So Fallen, Grim, Floppy, Calix, Fur, KNGB, OC, like those are guys, Michu at his price. Those are guys I would consider for my cash game captain. I don't think it's worth it to play a really cheap guy in the captain spot. Unless, again, I could see making an argument for maybe playing TRK there, but don't know if that's the way I'm going to go. I think I like playing one of those top guys in the captain spot and kind of going from there. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Again, hit the notification bell does really help me out to continue to put up free content for you guys each and every day. But yeah, thanks again for everyone to come and check the video, come to check out this video. Really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys all in the next one.